As I always say, no better way to understand it than to see it for yourself. So let's go check out the CSS3 Demos website. Well, I'm in the starting solution for this module, and you'll notice that as I look inside of Solution Explorer in Visual Studio, there is a Demos folder, and in the Demos folder there are two new files, CSS3 Animations and CSS3 Transitions. I'm going to focus on the Animations, which is currently open right now in the code editor. The only thing that has been specified with regard to a document level style is this box class name, and those are the dimensions, the background, and a margin, and it's applied to all of these divs on the page. Inside of the browser, it renders like this. So we have those 4 divs just sitting there. So what I want to do is introduce some animation concepts. To simplify this approach, I'm just going to be targeting one browser, or specifically this vendor prefix of WebKit, keyframes, and I will go with blushing as we talked about earlier. Now what that means I need to do is create my from. Background is what I'm going to be targeting in this animation. The background is going to be, all those D's. And then my to is also going to be referencing the background. And I'll supply that somewhat blushing color, FF9999. And I have my first keyframe created. Now in itself, it does nothing. Let me prove it. I'm going to save this, go back over to the browser and make sure it's refreshed. And as you can see, nothing exciting here. What makes all of this exciting is when we apply the named keyframe, this here being blushing, and we want to apply this animation to something. So I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Div1 down there, the first box, I would like to do something special for you. I'm going to use the WebKit animation with the name of blushing on you, and I'm going to do so for, let's say, 5 seconds. I'm going to save that. Now when I go over to the browser and when I hit refresh, the first box is animated. The 5 seconds have come and gone, and as you can see at the end of the animation, it just restores itself to the state that it was at. Let's look at more examples. Now I've just collapsed that blushing animation here. It's still on the page, just want to gain some real estate for this next one. It's an animation called Color Me, where I've introduced now, instead of from and to, I have the 0, 25, 50, and 100%. I have my colors here that are going to change, and I've applied this to this second box, and I'm going to go for 6 seconds. I will save that, return to the page, refresh. So the animations work. Once again, I've collapsed the definition here, and now I'm going to bring in the next example. This one's called Alter Me. What I want you to notice is that in addition to just changing the background colors, notice after 25% I introduce a box shadow. So your animations can become extraordinarily complex. Notice that I'm applying it to the third div, and I'm going to go for 10 seconds. I'll save this and go back to the web page. Now let me hit refresh. And we could see that the box shadow or the glow is starting to appear on that other box. And it's done. The final example, of course, it has to be a showstopper. So I'm going to bring that one into play. And I've called it Shock Me. And the reason for that is I really want to showcase what the possibilities are. In the last module, we talked about transforms. And now I'm applying some transforms in this journey along the way. Notice that I am scaling and rotating and translating. And when these values change from one step to the next, it's going to groove itself away into each one of those and provide an amazing transformation. Also notice that when I apply this animation called Shock Me, I'm going to go for 12 seconds, but I'm going to apply the infinite and alternate, which means keep doing this, and when you're done with the animation, go ahead and go in reverse. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to save it and go back to the page. I'll hit refresh. Notice how awesome it is when we're applying the opacity, when we're applying the translate so that it can move, and the scale so it can shrink like that. We're getting a full scale benefit of some amazing animations, so easy to apply, and of course, this is just being done to a simple div. Just imagine what you can do with some of these animations. But this module isn't over yet. We still have transitions to get to.